For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. He was supposed to be on like a month ago, and then I had to reschedule and just trying to get him back on. It was a little bit of a challenge, but we got him on just in time for his new single. We got Van Isaacson. How's it going today, man?
Going well, man. Thank you for having me. And actually, the timing couldn't be more perfect, like you said.
Yeah, because I was sitting there, like I was telling you before we jumped on here, I was doing like my prep work and whatnot, and I was like, oh, he released like an EP at the end of last year. That's probably why he wanted to be on in January. And then I went to your Instagram and I saw you had pre-saves for new music, and I'm like, well, that just made up for it all right there.
Well, yeah,
So,
you're supposed to say that was your plan the whole time. You were just looking
no,
out.
it wasn't. It was pure chance. I'm not gonna lie to the people out there. It was pure chance. But first off, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. I'm really excited. We had you on our live stream back when we were doing like the virtual concerts when those were a lot more prevalent and kind of a thing.
Early pandemic. Yes.
Yeah. But I want to thank you so much for giving us the time to sit down here and chat, because we didn't do that a whole lot during the original live stream back in May. Yeah, I think we decided.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of chatting. I do remember I think I was on when you were still kind of figuring out how the live stream broadcast was working, and I remember having to do my set, and your camera was still on my computer, so I was you're kind of zoning out.
Usually, I cut I would have cut my camera off, but for whatever reason, I forgot. And it was just one of those things. Like normally, I try and sit there, but I was like, all right, this is like hour 8. I have to go to the bathroom.
Well, that's what was so funny. It's like you've done it for so long that you could not have looked less interested in the set, and that was my entire computer screen. I was like, this is the best.
It wasn't that I wasn't interested.
Oh,
I was
know.
8 hours in, and it was just like I have resting bitch face, is what I'm told. So
okay.
It's one of those things. It's like I'm working on it. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm having a great time.
Yes, very monotone. It looks like I'm in miserable pain, but I'm having a great time. I promise you. But for the people that are just kind of getting introduced to you and just meeting you for the first time, what's kind of your backstory? What got you into music?
Well, not to go back too far, but I got into music very young with violin. That was kind of my first introduction to music as a little kid. And then, did the whole band thing, both school band and rock band thing in high school and whatnot. Moved to Chicago, went to school for music. The best choice, of course.
Yep.
And then I lived there for about 6 years. And then my girlfriend and I recently relocated to Nashville. And kind of what I've been doing lately is a lot of production here in the home studio. That's kind of been the main thing. And also the artist endeavor, which is kind of my side project and kind of my passion project. Which is kind of tough because when music is all encompassing, it's hard to. It's like my hobby and my career choice.
Yeah, I got you. So I think you've been in Nashville like just about a year at this point, because didn't you move
Hmm.
January last year?
Almost exactly a year, and it
Yeah,
has flown by. I'll tell
because
you that.
I would have sworn I saw a post come up or something that said you were celebrating in a year, and I was like, really? Like for whatever reason, when we had first met, I thought you had been in Nashville for a while already.
Well, there were a couple people that I'd worked with here for the
Mhm.
past couple years, and so I'd been around here, but yeah,
Yeah,
this is our first year living in
gotcha,
Nashville.
gotcha. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you grew up in Wisconsin and then moved to Chicago.
Yep, northern Wisconsin.
So does that mean you're a Packers fan?
Well, it's kind of hard not to be. I don't follow sports that closely, but I mean,
Okay.
how can you not love Aaron
Okay.
Rodgers? What a guy, right?
Uh, uh,
And
okay.
you're upset, but I imagine you're just a little
Well,
jealous, as if
okay. Wait a
anything.
minute. I'll tell you why I'm upset. Yeah. Oh, come on. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so so I did a podcast this morning. And they were also Bears fans. I don't know why there are these Bears fans all around the country wasting their time. I don't. You could be watching great football games. Like if you're not going to follow sports that closely, you might as well follow a good team. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, I follow him almost too religiously. Like,
I should be a Bears fan. You're exactly
well,
right.
no, because that was going to be my follow-up question was it a little conflicting when you moved to Chicago and decided to stay for 6 years?
Not at all.
No? I mean, to be fair, there are an obscene amount of Packers fans in Chicago, and I think it's
Oh yeah.
just
Yeah.
Bears fans that are like, "Yo, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to the other side," where they
Well,
actually
living there, a lot of Bears fans did double duty. They supported the Bears sometimes, but often had, a side fan,
the side
or
thing.
a side fan of some other team.
That's funny.
So,
No, no, not me. I just can't do it. But so you've been in Nashville about a year, and you've been
mhm.
pretty steadily releasing music throughout the right. Yeah, pretty steadily releasing music. You released an EP or late 2020,
Yes.
and like I'd mentioned earlier, Friday you're releasing a new single. So what's kind of been the process going through the pandemic, releasing music? Was it like, are you just kind of sitting towards more singles, EPs? Like, what's kind of the plan?
Well, so like I said before, my life is kind of all about production stuff.
Mhm.
So I work with a lot of other people, and my music has always been kind of like a playground for me, somewhere I can experiment on different production
Okay.
techniques and kind of, um, you know, try things out and express myself in that way. The EP was kind of that idea was right when we were moving. That was kind of my pandemic project,
Okay.
and clearly the pandemic has outlasted the project. I think I like putting out singles because they can all be different, but I
Yeah.
think going forward, I'll put out a couple more singles and then, have an EP with those singles on it just to kind of have them all together in the
Yeah.
same place.
Yeah.
But we live in an age that's very single driven.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to get people to listen to one song, much less five.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it's also one of those things where right now during the pandemic, it's like nobody's really unless you live in Texas or Florida, nobody's really doing shows right now. So it's kind of like the only way you can keep yourself relevant is by just continually promoting a new single. So whether that's once a month, once every 6 weeks, 2 months, like whatever it is, however quickly you can turn them out, um, singles is kind of the way to go. But there's still that like it's especially for me, like I'm not a musician. I don't pretend to be a music. Well, I pretend to be, but I'm not. Um, it was like there's still that like vanity of, oh, look at my full album. I have a piece of hardware to prove it. But like right now, it's just like it's all single. It's got to be all singles or formatted in a way that it's mostly singles.
yeah, I'm not anti album. And I am definitely someone who, if I like an artist, I'll put on their album and I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
I think it's just more of like, what reality are you living in kind of thing. At least for an artist like me, I don't have a massive following. I don't have diehard fans that will buy an album and listen to it. So it's kind of like that delicate balance of like, people are these days already in front of their screens all day, every day.
Yeah.
There's not much more time you can ask them to be in front of a screen. Um, and it's also kind of it's a financial burden to
Yeah.
make an album, and it ends up taking a long time, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm producing a couple albums for people right now.
Yeah.
But their plan is kind of like release a bunch of singles from the album and then just put them together when it's done as
Yeah.
an album,
Yeah. It
or
like I
eventually
saw
both.
that being like a release strategy in like hip hop not too long ago. Okay, before I continue, what are you drinking? What's
Oh,
your poison?
this is a rye bourbon.
Okay.
That's my favorite
Dang it.
for
Had
the
I known
evening.
you were drinking bourbon, I would have broke out the Tennessee whiskey I have
Well,
sitting
go
back
get
here.
some. I ain't going anywhere.
No, it's all right. It's I don't even have yeah. Uh actually there's a Indiana bourbon that I really want to get called the Blood of My Enemies.
Wow, that sounds very Indiana. I'm into
Yeah.
it.
I'm just sitting here, I'm like, I just want to have it. And so when people ask what I'm drinking, the blood of my enemies. You know, it's just it's very king king not what's the fucking show that everybody watches with the kings and the I don't remember now.
Oh, I know what you're talking. See, now we both know what we're talking about. We're on the
Yeah.
same page.
Oh,
Dude, whatever.
like medieval times, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
know. I know. I can't remember what the show's called. It's pathetic.
Boy, we're just off to a killer start right
I
now,
can
aren't
I
we?
can see the people logging off Facebook like,
Yeah,
come on.
King of the Throne or something like that. I don't know.
Game of Thrones.
Game of
That's
Thrones.
perfect.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, what? That's gonna bother me all night
Yeah,
because I
one I
don't know
haven't
it.
watched actually.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyways, so you got this new single dropping out,
Yes.
Georgia. It'll be Friday. Yep, Friday. 2 days away. Math,
Mm-hmm.
basic. Keep it. What's kind of the story behind that single?
So this one came about uh, towards the end, right before we moved.
Mm.
It was kind of a rough departure from Chicago, which was a shame because it's a city that I lived in and loved for 6 years.
Mhm.
We had a landlord kind of getting ready to kick us out. I'd lost my job from the pandemic, and
Yeah.
which was fine because we were moving anyway, but it's just kind of like a rough takeoff. And so we got here and we were having problems finding jobs and whatnot. And it all worked out. I'm very thankful. But at the
Mhm.
time, I was kind of like, just, I need to get away. So I went to northern Georgia. There's this big plot of land called the Cahutta Wilderness. And there's only a couple trails for people, but it's mostly just open land.
Mhm.
Um, so I went out there, and it's like 7 miles on this dirt road, this bumpy dirt road
Yeah.
winding through the woods. And you get up to the top of the mountain, not mountain, hill, I guess. And then you have to walk in an hour going down, and you end up by this river.
Uh-huh.
And so that's where I decided to camp. And I'd been camping before
Mhm.
and backpacking, whatever, but I'd never gone alone, and I'd never been that far out by myself.
Okay.
And it was kind of, I was like, it was beautiful for one,
Yeah.
but then evening came and I kind of lost my shit. Um, I'm not ashamed to say that, just being so far away from other people, and the trees were just massively tall, you couldn't even see the sky. So when it got dark, it was just pitch black.
Yeah.
And it was a big moment for me, and a lot happened. Like, you really discover who you are when you're in a situation like that. And
Yeah.
so I started writing the song in the morning, and I was just so thankful to see the sun. But it was that kind of primitive feeling that kind of sparked this song. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, yeah, I needed that reset. I really needed, like, all of this other stuff. I needed that kind of shaken out of
Yeah.
me. Um, and the second night I was fine. I really embraced it. And it was just, it was a really good trip for me. It was a trip that I just kind of took because I was tired and wanted, to
Yeah.
get away. And it ended up being a really important trip for me.
Yeah.
So that's what the song's about.
Awesome. It sounds like it's one of those things where you never realize how vulnerable you really are until you put yourself out in the middle of nowhere, knowing that if that grizzly bear or so, like whatever just decides, okay, I'm going to eat whatever this is, ain't shit you're gonna do about it.
Yeah,
Other
dude,
than
that's exactly it. And realizing that, like, as much as you may have your life, in control back at home, when you're out there, it's just like you are not in control. You are at the mercy of nature. And,
yeah,
that's kind of, it's a beautiful and scary thing at the same time.
yeah, absolutely.
But I
And
would definitely do it again.
yeah, oh yeah, camping is really fun. I don't do a lot of like just remote camping where like unless it's like an assigned campground, I don't do a lot of that. But just being out there and it's like at any moment a tree could fall right on top of me.
Yeah, and I'm with you as well. I don't do a lot of it.
Yeah,
I'm not claiming to be a camping master. In fact, I did it because my dad actually, when he was my age, he lived in Colorado and he was going up in the mountains by himself for days and days. And I was like, you know what? If he can do it, I can get out there.
yeah,
And I was out there. I was like, I don't know how anybody does this. Like, this is crazy.
yeah. Like
Um, so
my big concern would be and always is food. It's like for whatever reason, it's just like can't starve. I always have to eat. Like that's always my concern.
yeah, that
And
grizzly shows up and you're hungry. It's he's going down.
yeah, it's game time. It's like, all right, I've got a pocket knife. Let's see how well this goes.
Yeah, funny enough, I didn't run out of food at all. I did run out of water, but I had like the filtration thing, so I
Yeah,
could, But yeah, I feel you.
yeah, I got you. Oh, so that was kind of like the transformative point for you to like really
Mhm.
kick off the song.
Yeah,
Um, when did you take this trip down to North Georgia?
this was right when we moved, so it'd be in the spring.
Okay, perfect. And then you produced it all in your home studio?
Yep. Yeah. So, and I guess the alternate story for this song, on the production end, I was building out this home studio,
Mm,
because we didn't take a lot here.
yeah,
Um, and at the time, like in Chicago, I wasn't really doing a lot of production work. It was, I was doing the thing as like an instrumentalist. That's what I studied. That's
yeah,
kind of what I did.
yeah.
And kind of fell into production when I was here, somewhat out of necessity, but
Yep. Oh yeah.
also it was something that, like, I'd wanted to do and just had convinced myself that it wasn't something that I was able to do.
Oh yeah.
Um, so this song was kind of the first. Well, the last EP was truly the first one, but this one was like the first with the completed studio, all of the stuff,
Yeah. I've,
um, at my disposal.
yeah. Sometimes the best things happen out of necessity. It's just like I fell in the same boat moving here to Texas. It was just kind of like I had to learn how to do a lot of my own production, like recording and editing and all that stuff. And it was just like I'm more on the video side, but I need to learn how to do this audio so I don't have to drive all over the place to go meet my engineer to go get his
Mhm.
stuff. And it's hard. It's really hard to learn how to do audio production. Like,
Hey, but you're doing it, man. You're doing it well.
yeah, well-ish. I listen to his
Well
stuff and
enough, right?
yeah, I listen to his stuff and it's like, yo, this sounds so full. My stuff sounds like, yeah, it's there. It's a thing. It exists. Um, so the single releases on Friday. Do you have any plans for a like a music video for it, or is that kind of not a
Probably not.
no?
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not big on. I don't see songs like that.
Okay.
A lot of artists I work with are really good at that. I'm just I do the music stuff.
Yeah, but
So yeah, probably no music videos
I got you.
at this time, unless you want to record this, and I'll just throw the song over it. We can use this as the music video.
I have, it's I mean, we do a lot of like the live videos, which is cool and it's fun. It's, we get an opportunity to be a little bit creative, but I really want to redeem myself from the first two like cinematic music videos I ever made. And so I've been kind
Oh,
of
were they no
looking for
good?
that right project to do. I thought I had it. There was two music videos that I had like really killer concepts for, but one of them kind of aged out because the song was already like 3 years old, and then by the time I felt I was up to par to produce something for it, it was like 7 years old, and I'm like, "Yeah, we're not making a music video for a song that's been out for almost a decade already." And then same thing with the other song. It was just kinda like it started aging out where it's like and then the band kinda stopped playing for a long time, so it's just like, "Alright, I'm not making a music video for a band," you know?
That
So
doesn't exist. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, they exist, but it was just like for a good 2 years, they didn't do a show, they didn't write anything. It was just and this was even before the pandemic, so it was like, I ain't doing it, sorry, you know?
Yeah. I do like music videos a lot. I just yeah, I don't know. I became a musician to make music, and
Yeah.
uh, I don't particularly think people have a desire to see more of me.
Okay.
But they can certainly listen to
I feel you.
to my music.
I feel you. Um, so what so with the song releasing on Friday, what was kind of the plan for the release? Are you planning on doing like a virtual show, or do you have anything planned for Friday?
Um, I don't have anything like musical planned.
Hmm.
It's kind of a big day for the people I work with as well. I
Okay.
produced a song for my friend Allison Mahal. She also has a song dropping that day. And my girlfriend released a song on Monday, Leah Jean.
Hmm.
And our families are all in town, so we're all going to be celebrating that with an outdoor bonfire. We'll be celebrating
Oh, nice.
birthdays, and we're celebrating releases, and so it's I have nothing public to celebrate other than my normal social media begging people to stream it
Yeah,
routine.
I got
Um,
you.
but
Well,
that's about it.
I did pre-save it. I found that on your Instagram and I pre-saved it.
Oh,
And now that we're
thanks, man.
talking about it, I'm going to throw it into the chat here so everybody watching can pre-save it.
Yes, go
Uh,
pre-save it. Then I don't have to bother you. The Spotify will.
yeah, because it's just one of those things where it's like the reason I like it is because Spotify will, at least it did for a couple of them that I've pre-saved. It'll send you a message saying such and such song's been added to your playlist, and it scared me the first time because I thought it took a song off my playlist, and I'm like, Spotify, what are you doing? You're just taking songs off my playlist. But
You don't need
then
these. Yeah.
then I realized, oh no, it's adding a song. I just can't read.
Yeah.
Reading is
It's a cool
important.
feature.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's really cool. And then like just outside of music, what's kind of your thing? What do you do
That's an
to
interesting question.
other than
What
go camping and yeah.
music is kind of all encompassing. So I think outside of music, I cook a lot.
Hmm.
I clean the apartment. Um, and that's about it these days.
And all of that can be done while
I
listening
am
to
the
music.
housewife. Yes. No, there's not a lot. There's not a lot you can do these days. I really like hiking. Obviously, I like biking. Not this time of year.
Yeah.
But music is kind of what I do all day, every day, which is sad to say, but
Yeah.
that's how I prefer it.
Yeah. I guess.
So yeah,
I
well, and also I'm still in the place where I do have like a part-time job.
yeah,
So most of my free time is,
the
here.
part time.
Yeah.
What's your part time gig right now?
Oh, get ready. I drive a van delivering dry cleaning.
Oh, nice. That's what's
Hmm.
up.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm sure it's crazy right now with winter weather. Like, I don't know what the
We don't
winter
have
weather
that.
is usually like in Tennessee, but
It's been, well, yeah, yesterday was in the 50s, I think. So it's been 40s, 50s kind of thing here.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a good gig. I get left alone. I drive around. I listen to music and podcasts,
yeah.
and I go home and do music.
What's
It's a
your
good
podcast?
life.
What's your podcast of choice?
I listen to a lot of comedians who have podcasts. I listen to Your Mom's House,
Mhm.
Tom Segura,
Yep.
Christina P, the Burt Cast.
Okay.
I listen to, sometimes I listen to Mark Maron,
Uh-huh.
WTF.
Yeah.
He's a little abrasive for me sometimes, but I
Yeah.
really like him. You Made It Weird, Pete Holmes. Um, he's another sometimes
Yeah.
podcast for me because he gets a little heady
Yeah.
and whatnot. Those are my main ones.
Yeah. I
Uh,
try and listen to Joe Rogan, but some of
yeah, do
his
you have the time?
yeah, like when it's like when like I mean now that he's in Austin and he's on Spotify, he doesn't release as often as he normally does. Like back when he was
Right.
releasing a 3 hour podcast every day, it was like, man, I don't have time to listen to all this. Um, but now it's a little bit easier to digest, and I don't even listen to all of them because sometimes they'll have like just random people on it. It's like I don't really care what's going on in the in this community. I really don't.
I like his I listen to a lot of like the clips that
Mhm.
show up
Oh
on
yeah,
YouTube, but yeah, I love Joe Rogan as a human and as an idea,
yeah,
but yeah, his podcast can be again a little bit much for me,
yeah,
for my taste. Sometimes it's like he gets a little out there,
yeah,
I think when he starts operating solely on high thoughts,
yeah,
I tend to turn it off,
yeah.
you
I
know.
gotcha. The I've been well. What's sad is I was getting into Joey Diaz's
Oh my
podcast.
goodness, I forgot about Joey Diaz. Oh, he's the best, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah. It was one of those things where I was like, I was started getting into it before he had left to go back to New Jersey, and so he was
Hmm.
moving out of. The original podcast was Church of What's Happening, and then
Yeah. Hmm.
he
In
released
LA. Now it's the joint.
yeah, the joint. And I'm sitting there like I started getting into the Church of What's Happening. And then for whatever reason, he took like 2 weeks off while he was moving or whatever. And then I just never got into the joint. And I'm like, I need to maybe get back into that and just
It's the
kind of
same
see.
thing.
Yeah.
It's just
Same.
it's mostly just him. I would recommend Ryan Sickler has been, so the best thing about Joey Diaz are his life stories. I
Hmm.
mean, he's got a crazy backstory.
Hmm.
And Ryan Sickler, I don't know if you're familiar with him, the comedian. But on his podcast,
Vaguely, yeah.
but he's been chronicling his life story. So I would definitely recommend looking that up because
Okay.
that's a trip.
Nice. I'll have to check it out because it's like I sit here all day. I'm at work because I've been working from home since March, and it's like
Hmm.
I could sit here and listen to nothing other than the heavy-footed person that lives above me, and you know, sit here for 16 hours a day listening to absolutely nothing or listen to podcasts. And so I've been able to kind of get through the Joe Rogan ones a little bit more fluently, but it's still it's a lot, just
Yeah,
variety and what have you. But podcasts, it's the wave of the future, I guess. I don't know.
I love them. I think I like them because I have the time at my part-time job to listen to them. But
Yeah.
I like them. It's even when I'm cooking, I'll put one on.
Mhm.
It's just nice.
Yeah. As far as music, what's something you listen to that not a lot of people would expect you to be into?
Would expect me. Well, I don't know what people expect me to be into. Let's
Like,
see.
are you jamming out to like JoJo Siwa, just like some randomness. I don't know.
Oh, what's some random stuff I listen to? Well, I this isn't like crazy out there,
Okay.
but I really like guitar instrumental music,
Okay.
like fingerstyle guitar,
Oh yeah, that stuff's awesome.
like Andy McKee, um, Manelli. I like Isato Nakagawa. He's one of my favorites. So I love that kind of stuff. That's kind of my work music, where yours is podcasts. I like to
Yeah.
listen to that kind of stuff when I'm working.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been
yeah,
get
I don't listen to anything crazy.
yeah. It's been one of those things where I've started because I felt really hypocritical at the end of 2020 because I went, how like Spotify will send you their list of, oh, here are the top songs you listen to in for whatever year it is. And so I opened up my 2020 list and there wasn't a single independent band on my list.
Was it just Taylor Swift? Is that all you're
No, no,
rocking
no.
out
It was
to?
like
And the
a lot of
chicks?
Ed Sheeran, which was really weird. But
Oh, I see. I
yeah,
see.
like I mean, Ed Sheeran's a talented musician. Don't get
Hey,
me
whatever
wrong.
you're into, man, that's all
Yeah,
good.
but and so I was sitting there. I was like, I feel really hypocritical. I'm supposed to be promoting independent music. If anybody sees this list, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're full of shit." And it's like, I'm sorry, it
You
is.
heard it here, folks.
Yep. But it's one of those things where this year I was just like, we launched a radio show back at the end of January.
I saw
But
that. I got that email. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You are on that email list, so you get all my
Yeah, I'm on your
emails.
email list. Yeah.
Yeah. I was sitting here, I was like, wait, oh yeah, yeah. I was like, wait, how would you be on my email list? But you are. I remember because you applied through the website for the podcast, so that's how you'd be on there. But so now it's just kind of like every week I have to have at least 8 new independent bands to present to the table. And it's just kind of
That's good
like
for your Spotify.
it's very good for my Spotify. Like I'm just sitting here like it's so good. Like I upgraded to premium and I'm just kind of spreading the wealth through my premium account because it's like, oh, I got to listen to this song 20 times to see if I actually like it or not. And they just get
Nice.
20 premium plays.
You're paying, yeah, you're paying the bills this this
Yeah.
year.
It
So
just,
what do you tend to gravitate towards? What's your kind of genre of choice? I know you interview and showcase many genres, but
I mean,
what's Tom's favorite genre?
it changes. Like when I was in college or when I was growing up, I was really into like hip hop and like that cross section of rock and hip hop. You remember in like the mid 2000s when Cypress Hill had that
Mm,
rock hip hop album.
I
So that
see.
was kind of my lane. That's where I like to be. And then I went to college and I went to school in Southern Illinois, so it was all country kids. Like they all grew up in the country, so it was a lot of Jason Aldean and like whatever was popular in like 2010, 11, that ballpark. And then I kind of got the opportunity to move out, and it's just like I'm gonna listen to whatever I feel like. But recently, like the common one is I like good blues music, like just
Oh, yeah.
just blues music in general. And then I've been really getting into ska lately. Like I'm waiting for that ska revolution to come back around because there's really not that many ska bands out there. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Blues and ska.
That's
I think
awesome.
it's
That's a good combo.
I think it's got to do with the horn section though. Like for whatever reason, I just like
Mm,
very present horn section. So
okay.
yeah, but um, so yeah, other than working and playing music, that's just kind of your thing is cooking as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been producing a lot of projects here, and it's been a blast.
What's kind
So
of the plan moving forward? I know you'd mentioned that you're kind of working towards more releases for the rest of the year. Um, do, do you have like the rest of the year planned out, or like what's the plan kind of moving forward?
well, it's hard to have things planned out, but I do have songs that I do
Fair
want to
point.
have somewhat of a steady stream of my own music coming out. Um, I think the plan is I want to get my studio a little more full time. That's
Mhm.
kind of been my goal for this year. Is I want to be able to cut back my hours on my part time job and kind of make this studio more of the job. And hopefully touring comes back. That's the one thing that I really
Yeah.
miss. Um, I went on a tour early last year
Mhm.
in the winter. It was called the Cold AF Tour, and I did the East Coast in the winter. That was kind of the joke. It was actually beautiful weather, so the joke didn't actually work, but it was like the best shows of my life. I just had so much fun, and I was really looking forward to doing that before the pandemic. So I'm hoping that can come back and I can go, you know, see different cities with my friends and play music. That's kind of why I got into it. Um, so that's the tentative plan for the end of this year, and the middle of this year, starting now would be to get the studio going. Um, so
I got
yeah.
you. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, we're always
if you're
getting.
feeling chancy, come on out to Texas. There are venues that are playing shows, kind of.
Well, uh, there are shows here as well,
Okay.
and I don't believe there should be, but
Okay.
there are. You know, it,
I
I'll
got you.
once people are vaccinated and good to go and healthy, I'll
I
be
got you.
doing the show
I
thing
got you.
again. Yeah.
I actually went out to a show. What was it, January? I want to say I went like early January to a show, and it was just like this
Mm.
really weird thing because it was like everybody didn't know how to act around each other, and you had like tables of people that they were like friends or they lived together and they'd seen each other. But if somebody that wasn't in their like circle, it was kind of like, who are you? Like, get away from me type of things.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like,
that's
look,
just it, man. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't want to just go to a show because I got to scratch that itch. I want
yeah,
to like go to a show. I don't want to go to a show and have to wear a hazmat suit and,
yeah,
hate my neighbor and, sit 300 yards from the next. I want to go to a show. I'd rather wait and do it properly and,
yeah,
and have it go back to normal because that's, those are my favorite shows,
yeah.
are
Oh,
the
yeah.
actual shows. So I'm happy to be patient and wait. That's not a
Yeah, I
problem
got you.
for me.
And I think that's why I haven't gone to a show since, just because it was so weird. It was such a weird experience. And the only reason I honestly really went was because it was a musician that I had on the podcast from Nashville. She came down and did she was doing like a radio tour, like a promo tour on radio. And she picked up a couple of shows. And I was like, well, I don't know when I'm going to Nashville again. So I'll go out there. The bar is like literally quarter mile from my apartment. Like I could have probably walked there if I really wanted to. Um, but it was just such a weird experience. Like I don't know. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's not really relaxing to do that kind of stuff.
yeah,
That's why you go to a show. You go to a show to unwind and hang out. You can't really do that now.
yeah,
So
absolutely. But I don't want to keep you too much longer. So I'm going to ask you the most polarizing question I can possibly ask you.
uh-oh.
Pineapple pizza, yes or no?
Hmm. I've been known to do it. I haven't actively ordered it for myself, but if it's sitting on the table, I've been known to pick up a slice.
I feel you on that one.
That's
I
what I'll say. That's what I'll say.
Okay. It's just one of those things where it's like if you're hungry enough, you'll eat it.
I
I've
mean, I don't have that much class, so I mean, pretty much anything on a piece of dough with tomato sauce and cheese, I'll probably be able to put in my mouth and enjoy it.
gotcha.
Um, so maybe I'm not the
Is it a
best
legal
judge of
thing to
that.
eat pizza in Wisconsin, or is that primarily a Chicago thing Chicago habit that you picked up?
You can definitely eat pizza in Wisconsin.
Okay.
It would definitely be mostly cheese.
Okay.
Um, yeah, no, actually, I have. This is probably more polarizing this opinion, but this is a terrible opinion that I try not to to share too often,
Okay.
but Chicago deep dish is good. However, growing up, when I had Papa Murphy's Chicago style,
Yeah.
honestly, I like that a little better, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, here's the thing, and because so for my work, they just did they have this diversity and inclusion thing where they ask people to submit their life stories, just like as a get to know you type deal. And I mine just came out a couple days ago, and in mine, I was like, I'm very proud to be from Chicago, but just FYI, people from Chicago don't eat deep dish like that. Like, it's one of
Yeah.
those things, especially for me, it was like I've had deep dish maybe 4 times in my entire life. It just wasn't a
Yeah,
thing
it's
to me.
more about the hot dogs, if I'm being honest. The
Yeah,
Chicago dogs,
yeah,
those are the things that you get,
yeah. And, it's just one of
stumbling
those
around at 2 in the morning.
because the good deep dish is so few and far between. Like, you gotta go in town, you gotta go to Gino's or Lou's, or there's, like, a couple of places you can go, but unless you're downtown, you're not going to those places, you know? So,
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's not really, I don't know, it's not super accessible. Like
yeah,
that, what I feel like what a city's food that they should be known for is like an accessible
yeah.
kind of food. That's why I always stand by the Chicago dog. That's
And
anybody can get that. You got a couple bucks, you're getting one of those.
yeah, funny thing is, I'm not a big fan of Chicago hot dogs. I'm just not a big fan.
That's okay. You know, some
I
people like pineapple on pizza, and some people don't like hot Chicago hot dogs. So
yeah,
that's okay.
but I enjoy the hell out of a Nathan's hot dog. Like, you give me a Nathan hot dog and it's going down.
So what's the Waco, Texas food of choice?
um, roadkill? No, I'm just kidding. I don't
You beat
know.
me to it.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna say something wildly problematic, but I'll tell you when we get off the air here. Uh, but honestly, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know.
Like
Like,
if
I
I
mean, I
came
just
there and you were like, if I came there and you were going to show me to a proper Waco, Texas good time, where would we go?
mm, like, I mean, there's some good steak places, but like, I mean, I feel like that's just Texas in general. Like, you can
Mm,
get good steak. As far as like where we'd go, like we'd probably just go to a steakhouse or something.
yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, I'm all about the steakhouse. But so if anybody wants to check out you or your music and what you got going on,
Yes,
where's
please.
the best place for them to do that?
Anywhere on the internet, but probably I'm most active on Instagram and definitely Spotify. That
Okay.
if you haven't been turned off by this podcast performance, Spotify is the place to go.
Nice. Uh, so you said you're more active on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I have just started a TikTok, unfortunately.
Well,
My friend started one and requested that I also try it out. So I'm giving it a go.
okay.
Um, we'll
Here's the
see.
thing
We'll see
about
if I keep it up.
TikTok is like, for me, I can't create custom content for TikTok. Not to get on a whole social media tangent here, but just like the natural, authentic reach of TikTok is there. Like, I could take a clip from this interview and probably morph you saying that you love putting pineapple on your Chicago hot, like, just something random like that, and put it on TikTok, and it'll get like 1,000 hits without even promoting it. Like, just I don't have a following on TikTok. I could just upload it and naturally be there.
Well, it looks like everybody should go follow Live and Amplified on TikTok because they are about to have one where they take people's words and put them out of context and roast them on TikTok.
I would never really do that, but it's just one of those things. But the one social media platform that I have been really interested in and just kind of like watching, engaging it is have you heard of Clubhouse yet? Have you?
Yeah, I have been on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
It's I'm not the best candidate for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I it was a lot. So I don't know if you know. Have you been on it? I
Yeah,
don't want to
I,
explain
I'm
it. Yeah.
yeah, no, I've been on it. Like I get the only issue I have with it is I I kind of have to get myself out of my shell and just kind of start creating on there, like making a room and just doing hosting stuff because there's not a lot, at least music wise, in the people that I follow. The people like, hey, let's listen to music or whatever. There's just not a lot going on. So like maybe
Yeah.
4 times a week, I'll get an
It's
alert.
also it's not a great um platform for like playing other kinds of media like music through it. And so the talking stuff is a lot of networking,
Yeah,
and I felt really uncomfortable like chiming in to say something,
yeah.
that
Well,
matters to
and I,
25 people that I've never met. It's tough for me to do that.
and my thing is, I think Clubhouse is going to get the Snapchat treatment,
What
where
is that?
basically the reason Snapchat's not as popular as it once was is
Hmm.
because Instagram stories, Facebook stories, like they were revealed as just being a feature on other platforms.
Oh,
So
I
like
see. So it'll get bundled into something bigger.
yeah, so like Clubhouse, like I mean Clubhouse will stick around, it'll always kind of be a thing, but there's nothing stopping. Like I mean Facebook already kind of has it with their oh, what is the stupid thing that you can do, like their group hangouts or whatever, like
Mm.
um create a room, the creator, like you can just kind of make a room and have a conversation.
Oh, with
So
anybody?
yeah, like if you go
That's
like on
interesting.
Facebook, I don't think you can do it with like a group page. I think it's got to be like your personal page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
sorry, I saw the
I
internet
don't have a
glitching and
problem
I'm
with
like, I saw your internet glitching and
no.
I'm like, I don't know what all he heard.
Oh, is
So I'm gonna
Oh, I've heard you the whole time. Can you
okay.
still hear
Got
me?
gotcha.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Clubhouse. It's just really not. It's not it's not for me. It's
Yeah.
just kind of it's a little too intense for me,
Yeah.
and it's really networky, and I've never been that kind of guy, I
Yeah.
guess.
I got you. I got you. But once again, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. What's the social handles again for everyone? Since there was a nice little gap in there.
Well, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the work you do on this platform. It's great.
Thank you.
So congratulations and keep going. I am a fan. I'm not just on here. I do support your work. I think it's fantastic.
Appreciate
Um, but yeah, my stuff is my name at the bottom there. Um, on all social media, Spotify especially. Please and thank you.
it. Yep.
This
Pretty safe.
Friday,
It's
lots
in
of
the
music coming out. Yeah, follow me on Instagram. If you'd like to hear me talk about more of nothing like you saw here, I do that quite a bit on there. Um, and that's about it.
gotcha. Gotcha. Well, once again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you guys later. All right. Cool. We're good.
Great. Hey, man, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah.